Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through Mindel Archives. We are now in the week of Chanukah, and as the Rebbe says many times, and it brings from the sages, from Chazal, that the events that happened in the past are remembered and observed in the Jewish life, not only remember, but also a lesson which should apply to our everyday life. That means that everything that happened years ago, we have to apply it, a lesson, what we can learn out from that. The Rebbe always speaks about that. So one of the teaching of Chanukah is that Chanukah has to be lit when the sun is set, when it's dark outside. Chanukah lights symbolizes the light of Torah mitzvahs. Chanukah light tells us to light the outside, to spread Torah mitzvahs in the outside, to illuminate themselves, the home, the outside, everywhere around him. And as the Chazal tell us, Ad de kalye ragle de tarmidoi, till every Jew is lit through Torah mitzvahs. That's one thing. Another lesson the Chanukah teaches us, not to be satisfied with lighting one candle, even though the first night you have to light one candle, but the second night you have to light two, and the third night 3, and so on. Never to be satisfied. When it comes to Torah mitzvahs, we always have to increase. Never be satisfied. Yesterday I did this and this, but you always have to add and do more. Another lesson the Rebbe says from the Chazal. It says, the Gemara says that the Chanukah candle, menorah, has to be mi Pesach beisai mi bachutz. The outside doorpost. That means it has to be at the doorpost, the outside door. Mezuzah biyamin, v'ner Chanukah b'smol. The mezuzah has to be on the right side, and the candles to be on the left side. Then we have to know that at the same time as we should light the outside, the dark world, put Torah mitzvahs to light up the outside world, the same time we have to know that we should protect our own home, our children, our grandchildren. Mi Pesach beisai, the house, but mi bachutz. In other words, that nothing from the outside should creep into our home, from the olam hasheker, from the false world. This is what Ner Chanukah represents. Now, when it says mezuzah miyamin on the right side, what does that mean? A mezuzah on the right side and Ner Chanukah. We know that mezuzah is holy, and Ner Chanukah is Torah mitzvahs, as we just said. But I saw in a sefer that mezuzah comes from 3 words. Mezuzah. Mem is 40. 40 is Torah. Because Moshe Rabbeinu, when he went to Har Sinai, he was there 40 days and 40 nights to be mekabel the Torah. Also, the Torah Shebal Peh, the Talmud, the Gemara, begins with a Mem, and that ends with a Mem. It begins with the Mishnah, Me'emosai Korin Shema, and it ends with Hashem Oiz Liamo Yitain, Hashem Yivorich Asami Vasholim. So Mem is Torah, meaning that mezuzah biyamin, that the children, the grandchildren, the parents should know that the house should be a home of Torah. That the walls should absorb the Torah. And after 120 years, as it says, that the walls will be a witness that this home was a home of Torah mitzvahs. So that's the mem of mezuzah. Zu, mezu. Zu goes on the Bnei Yisrael, on the Yidden. Like it says, Am zu gealta, Am zu kaniso. That this home is a home of Hachnosas Orchim, a home of Avram Avinu, an open home, a Yiddish house. That's Zu. Ze Keli v'anveyu, that's God, Eibishter. When you have Torah mitzvahs, and when you have Eden in the house, then the Eibishter is also in this home. And this is what the Ner Chanukah miyamin, mezuzah biyamin, and Ner Chanukah mismol, that all around, from the time you walk into the house, we know that this is a house of Yidden, a house of Torah mitzvahs. You see, this is a Yiddish home. Unfortunately, you see it even in some religious homes. The Frierdiker Rebbe mentioned the mode, the fashion creeps into the home. And I'm not talking about people that don't go tznius, but they have to have clothes, bedavke, the latest fashion, and as you can see in the home, everything has to be the latest. This is also from the outside. So it should be the ikar, the main thing. You should have a home of Ner Chanukah bismoil and mezuzah biyamin. Another lesson the Rebbe says that we can learn from Chanukah, and this is in another letter of the Rebbe, an English letter. A rabbi wrote to the Rebbe, a conservative rabbi, wrote to the Rebbe, and I'm not going to say what he wrote, it's not important, but I'm just going to tell you what the Rebbe answered him. First of all, he was wishy-washy. He tried to make Torah mitzvahs a little bit, wishy-washy. That's what. So the Rebbe answered him like this. Say the way it is. Take off your kid gloves. That's called the Zaydene Henshikes. In the time of Chanukah, there were unfortunately Jews that were called Hellenists. They learned and they followed the Greek culture. As we say in Vial Hanisim, Lehashkichom toirosecho ulahavira mechukei ritzoinecho. They said, these are Yidden, these are Jews, learn Torah. But learn Torah as a culture, learn Torah like the Greeks, learn Torah because you understand your seichel. But don't say that this is the Eibishter's Torah. Forget about Torah secho. This is the milchama, the war that they had, the Hellenists had. This is the milchama, and this is what they learned from the Greek culture. Today, later on, there was the maskilim. Also the same idea. That's how the reform movement started. Yehudi beveisecho, v'goy b'tzeyosecho. Be a Jew. In the house, 100% be Jew. Soon as you walk outside, be like the goyim. This is how the reform and the conservative movement started. To modernize Yiddishkeit. This was the Milchama. Today, this is the reform movement. The Rebbe said, say the way it is. It's not the Yid. A Yid is holy. As the Rebbe said, there is no conservative, there is no orthodox, there is no reform. A Yid, a Jew is a Jew, and we were all on Har Sinai, we all got the Torah the same way. It's the movement is the problem. And this movement, this is started from Chanukah, the Hellenist, the Maskilim, and this is the reform movement. And by the way, by the reform, one of the biggest Yomim Tovim is Chanukah. And Chanukah is the problem that they made, because this is what they want, Lashkicham Toirasecha, to forget Toirasecha, they Bishnas Torah. This is what they didn't want. And as the Rebbe mentioned in the letter, that there are no 3 generations reform. Or did you ever hear a person, right, should say that he has nachas from his great-grandchild that he's a reformed Jew? There was never such a thing, because that's not called nachas. Or they do tshuva and they become frum, they start keeping Torah mitzvahs, or Rachmana litzlan, God forbid, they go and they intermarry, and who knows where they go. So this is the ness of Chanukah, that we got rid of this Hellenist, and the same thing also that we have to put a light into the world, into the modern world, and just like in Mitzrayim, which one of the reasons we went out of exile, Shaloshinu Ashmom, they didn't change their names. Michael is Michael. There's no Jack. There's Yaakov. A Jew keeps his name. Shaloshina Shlishainam. They didn't change their names. They didn't change the language, and they didn't change their clothes. A Yid has to wear clothes the way a Yid should wear clothes. Meaning tznius. So Chanukah should, one of the things that Chanukah should put a light into the Yidden, that they should do the Torah mitzvahs. And as the Chazal tell us, that Kol Hamayad is Betelim Chutz B'Chanukah Upurim. All holidays will be bottled, nullified, except Chanukah Upurim. So, because Chanukah Upurim is Midrabanan, which I don't want to go into that. So the same thing also. Let's hope that this Chanukah, the Menorah, that will have, put a light into the darkness, into the Yidden that need to be put a light into, and we should be Zoiche to the Geula Shleima, to the speedily the redemption. Emetz Hashem B'Kodev Mamish. Next week, Emetz Hashem will continue our weekly program. Thank you.